Hi guys, today I will give my opinion on fear and greed. I think that everybody that trades is governed by fear or greed. I don't think that they can both happen at the same time. If they both happen at the same time, it might be that you are a new trader and that is a lot of work that you will have to put in. But I think that once you advance in this trade of trading, um, you will be governed by either fear or greed. And I'm not going to say that there is an easy fix to this. I'm not going to say that this is a thing that you can easily surpass. I just think that it's possible that you can enhance your relationship with either fear or greed. In my case, I was never really drawn out by fear. I don't think that fear is something that has an effect on me when I'm trading, so I don't think that I can talk about this a lot, in the sense that I think that resolving fear is pretty easy, in my opinion. Fear is basically dependent on a few factors. First of all, you would be fearful when you're taking a trade or when you're taking a loss. In my opinion, that's the two ways that fear is usually showing in your personality when you're trading. And the simple way of resolving this issue, even though obviously it's not simple, is that you have to understand that this is a probabilistic game. Okay, so once you're going into this trading game, once you're taking a trade, once you're trying to exit a trade, once you're taking a loss, you have to put it in your mind and kind of explain it to yourself that it's a probabilistic game. Taking a loss is normal from time to time. Taking trades that are suboptimal, maybe it's even normal from time to time. So having fear in this business will not help you, just by the fact that it's basically just a chart moving, right? Your decisions are based on your own thoughts, on your own feelings, but the same chart that is in your face is basically in another 99% of the people that you would think of face, right? So basically the chart doesn't change, you change watching the chart or trying to take a trade in the market. So keep this in your mind. How are you actively combating fear? In my opinion, for me, it helps a lot to tell myself that this is a probabilistic game, to tell myself that no matter what happens with this trade, my process and my consistency will never change, just because of the fact that there can be literally somebody coming into the market short with I don't know, $10 million, and I would think that the market would go up at that time, and so the probability is basically even higher of going lower, even though my position is long. Okay, so in that point you have to understand that the probabilities are really hard to wager, right? So you may never know what will happen with the chart, with the market, and this is not your job. Your job is not to your job is basically not to know where the price is going. Your job is not to know exactly the direction of the next move. Your job is to literally take a trade, see if your idea makes sense, see if your process works properly during this trade, and that's all you can do. That's literally all you can do. You cannot do anything else, because chances are you are not the guy that moves the market, and if you are the guy that moves the market, then I guess that you went through this life and you had a lot of things that you have overcame, and at that point I don't think fear is a thing that would happen to you at all. Obviously I'm talking about the markets, I'm not talking about day-to-day fears, because these can be here in a lot of ways. Obviously you will always have fear. You can have fears of altitudes or whatnot, and these are harder to resolve, obviously. But when you're literally having fear that is only in your mind and not obviously the day-to-day fears are also in your mind, but it's way easier, and it's easier to see them. They're tangible, right? But when you're looking in the chart, you have to understand that once you get into this probabilistic mindset, it will be easier for you to take trades. It will be easier for you to understand that, okay, I'm risking this amount on this chart. in order to see if my process and my idea comes out with a win, obviously, because this is what we all would like to, I would obviously like all my trades to be profitable, and I would like all my trades to yield me money, but this is not the case, right? I have to understand that losing is fine from time to time. I have to understand that maybe I will take my trade off too early from time to time, and that's absolutely normal. I don't have to force it all the time. I don't have to, just let the market do its thing, and just adapt to the fact that you have this probabilistic mindset. You just go into the market, you put your risk in, you put your trade in, you respect your process, and at the end of the day, whether you win or lose, it's, to be honest, it's not really for you to say, because if you are not the guy moving the market, if you're not the institution that has the power and the money to move the market, then why can you not understand that fear cannot exist in your life? What are you fearful of? You have to basically put your idea into the market. You have to wager your amount of money that you are comfortable with wagering for your first position. That's why I also explained my system and how the first position usually is a wager, just because of the fact that I don't know where the market is going next, and I do not care where the market is going next, as long as I am respecting my process. Okay, so basically just think about the fact that anything can happen in the market, and there is no reason to be fearful, because you don't have any certainty and you don't have any agency of what's going to happen next. When you understand the fact that there is no agency on your side of what's going to happen next, you are probably not going to have this fear of taking the trade, because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you can literally trade while sitting on your head for 3 days in a row, and it will not mean that you are winning or not. So this is my opinion on fear. I think that once you understand that nothing is based on what you are doing, obviously you can have a process, you can be disciplined, you can eat well during the day, you can train, you can have proper processes like checking out your charts every morning or whatnot, and that will for sure increase your process and enhance it, and increase your probability of winning and not taking bad trades and so on. But that will not resolve the fear. I think the fear comes from the fact that you are not you're not giving yourself enough votes of confidence, of understanding that you are a consistent trader, you are respecting your process, and you're just going off with that. And that's on fear. That's my opinion on fear. And I think greed is harder to gauge, just because of the fact that greed comes in way more than just taking or not taking a trade, or taking lower profits and so on. I think greed is harder to both explain and resolve, because greed usually comes from your mentality of not having enough. From most of the times it's from the fact that you are impatient with yourself. You are, maybe whenever you're going into the market, you're thinking of your surroundings, you're thinking of the fact that maybe I need to quit this job, or maybe I need to make more money than I did yesterday, or maybe I would like to win this trade just because of the fact that I need to win more than I have lost 2 days ago, or so on. So greed can be extremely hard to take on, just because of the fact that it can be extremely it can be extremely adaptive. What I'm trying to say with this is the fact that you can have greed when you're waiting for more profit, or you can be greedy when you're already in a big profit and you're saying you want more, or maybe you don't want to move your stops in good profits. Maybe your open position goes to a losing position, and then you start tilting, right? So at this point, I think that I will talk about greed from the perspective of wanting more all the time. And I think for us as human beings, it's obviously normal to want more all the time. I think it's normal to always try to... The thing is, whenever you are not kind of having a continuous progress, like let's just say that this month you're winning 10% of your account, and then next month you're having minus 2% on your account. That mentally is kind of not respecting a proper progress line, and that tells you that you're regressing and not actually progressing, which is to be honest, not completely right, just because of the fact that there is a lot of uncertainty in this market. So once you understand the fact that this is not a linear progression business, in my opinion, and I think this happens a lot in life where we don't progress linearly all the time. I will try to explain it in a way that maybe makes sense to you, because it did make sense to me. So I think that greed is probably possible to be combated by the fact that you should think of your life or of whatever you're doing as support and resistance. And let me explain how this works. Let's just say that you are trying to lose weight, and you are for the past few years you are actually gaining weight. This means, in my opinion, that you are actually going higher on the chart, and at some point you will hit a resistance. Okay, at that moment when you're gonna hit a resistance, you're actually going to bounce back down, just because the resistance is so big that you are going back to your baseline, which is your support. Okay, but how does this work with greed? So this works with greed with the fact that you have to understand that progression in life and progression in trading and the linear outcomes in trading come by the idea of support and resistance. The more you actually go on your process and progress your process and make small changes that will help you in the long run, that's a support that at some point it will hold so hard that you're just gonna bounce on the chart so hard and with so much power that this greed doesn't really have to be like, you have to understand that you can contain your greed just by the fact that you're thinking that you're always at a support line, and that you're just at that point when you're about to literally bounce on your life chart, on your let's say process, on your chart progression. So when you're thinking about the fact that I am at this support line in my life, and that the more I do and the more I progress little by little, just by changing some habits or resolving some issues with myself, I have no reason to be greedy. Okay, I don't need more at this moment. I don't need to get more profits out of the market. I don't need to have more funding account, like don't need more funding, more than 100k, more than 200k under my belt, just because of the fact that at some point I will become that human being that can literally naturally go for more, just because of the fact that I was there at the support line. I built that support line so hard that I will probably start jumping to the next support line. And that's how life is. It's not always linear growth. You will probably end up thinking more of support resistance in life than in actual charts. And this is how I think that you can maybe put greed aside and think of the fact that once you go out of this support line and find new support at the next resistance, for example, you are just betting on yourself for the long run.